Hi, welcome to another Claudicious episode of of, of my my experience with OpenClaw and how I'm building the AI agents. So Sarah is my primary or main, it's called the main agent, and she spawns sub agents. And most of the times I can just be driving and I'll just call her and say, "Hey, I need a new agent, and this is his name, and he's going to be doing these functions." And then she'll say, "Okay, I'll start setting him up." And she'll 2 minutes later she says, "Okay, done." Um, and so it's just amazing. So one of the things I told her is I want her to give her honest opinion about our website. So let's go to our website, and she said actually that it is what did she use? I'm in the wrong computer. Hang on. She said to be honest is God. She says to be honest and tell you the truth. And I said, yes, I want to tell the truth. And she says, and by the way, do you see our new logo right here for OpenClaw? She says that it's too busy. People don't know. They should land here, know in like a few seconds what do you sell, what do you provide for people, what is the product. So then I said, okay, go ahead and do your own site. And then I told her yesterday to combine components of my, old site because I like the timeline, which kind of goes through a history of all the things I've done all the way back to 1984, I think. So
Nice.
I asked her to just combine those components, and then let's see, let's go and see what she did because I've been. So basically, she says we got to focus on a B2B solution because it's just better return, less clients, and the whole concept is to never miss another call, lead, or an appointment, and that's what we focus on. And appointment-driven teams, and she made these things, see how it works, explore use cases. So I didn't do any of this. Okay, I mean this is all her. I didn't do any of it. And she actually copied the timeline, as you can see. I just told her, hey, I don't want to forget about that. And this is a call to action. Oh, this is actually answer 10 questions and get a practical workflow review. But the key of the solution is this, is to have her
Wow.
basically, like she'll answer, okay. I told her not to forget about the front desk.
I'm going to pull image assets from the existing site and use them to strengthen V4. Then I'll do the next polish pass on the homepage. I found several strong images on the existing site that aren't in V4 yet. I'm copying the best front desk healthcare business visuals into V4 and wiring them into the page. Done. I pulled existing site images into V4 and started using them. What I
So V4 is a version 4 of the new website. And but as you can see, it kind of like said, this is how we need to focus. This is how I'm going to develop the website. And I said, fine, go ahead and do it. And she said, and the other build direction we should use is educational landing page first, not sales pressure call funnel first. I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, I mean, just think about like, no, 6 months ago, a year ago, having a system like that to help you with your business and say these things. I mean, I I never would have been able to do it.
Mm.
And I told her not to book an appointment because, all the websites and LinkedIn are always saying, well, book a 20-minute call. And here's my thought about that. I don't know who you are. I don't want to book a 20-minute call, you know? Tell
Yeah.
me. So I told her, um, show people what we do and emulate kind of like the demo or the call. Like, how can we display to them and answer all the questions you'd think they'd have in a demo? And is it necessary? Because you want valid leads. You want people to call because they're excited about what you're saying, what you're doing. And I think she was really good input. And right now, because I said, let's see.
Agreed. Book a call is too early for cold traffic if they still don't understand what you do. That's the real issue. People don't want to jump on a call just to decode what the product is, whether it's for them, what happens next, whether it's hype or real. So V4 should be built to educate first, convert second. Direction for V4. Instead of this flow, land on page, vague AI messaging, book a call. We should make it. Land on page, understand the problem, see how the solution works, see examples, art use cases, understand who it's for, then choose next step. Better CTA ladder, not just one CTA. Primary CTA, see how it works.
So that's part of the journey that we're working on right now. But something else she's done for me too is, which I thought was pretty amazing. So I told her that she's been kind of behind on the concept of building the funnel.
Huh.
So she says, "You're right. Okay." Um, I told her, let's focus on the CRM. Okay. And I said, hey, should we use FileMaker because I'm familiar with that database, or SQL? And she says, I prefer to use PostgreSQL. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I want you to build a database on the Mac Mini. So it's on an external cloud database. It's here on our premises in our Mac Mini. And then she says, well, let me check to see if it's installed on this Mac Mini. She says, oh, it's not. So then she said, okay, I'm installing it right now. And then I'm building the database, the schema, the fields. And she built the CRM, okay,
Hmm.
where it's basically, dashboard contacts. Oops, contacts not working, but campaigns, tasks. And then I just told her, like, oh, change this. I want you to add a delete button. I want you to create a relationship between the companies and the contacts. And then the funny thing at the end, she says, okay, I'm going to create a imports tab so you can start importing the CSVs with your contacts. And I thought to myself, I don't want to do it. So I said, I've saved the CSV file in this folder. I want you to get it and import it. And she did. And then I said, oh, the in the system we have just a full name. We don't have first and last name, and the contacts you pulled in having them separated. She said, oh, yeah, yeah, I see that. Okay, let me combine the two. So all of a sudden, boom. And so I just talked to her to develop the CRM, okay, in-house with just the features I want. I think that was pretty cool. So that's all I got to say, except she's a deed. When I say deed, it's like the Greek pronunciation of dead. And
Well, yeah, so you were hinting away at that. What happened to her?
okay, so I was smart. I thought, oh, okay, I can use OpenAI, my account, my professional account, to uh, use as a language model. And somebody says, well, they do track like your usage. Okay, so it's not like you're using API calls, but they track your tokens. And I guess I've been very verbose with our communications with Sarah, so I talk a lot to her, and she talks a lot back. And so all of a sudden, my pro account ran out of tokens. So then I thought, okay, I'll upgrade it to a business account because there's a lot more tokens. But I'm
Pro
using,
account on what?
huh? The what?
Pro account on which one?
On ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't want to rack up a lot of API calls and costs because that's where you get into trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't want to use API calls. So what happened was I upgraded to the business version, which is I think it's $30, and I thought, no big deal. But then I found out you have a minimum of 2 users, so it was $60. So then I reprogrammed OpenClaw to use a new ChatGPT 5.4 codex. And I think my problem is I shouldn't have used that as a primary. I should have used it as a backup. And I do need to figure out how to assign different models for different tasks. So all of a sudden, yesterday, she ran out of tokens again. So I was trying to, and one mistake I've noticed is using ChatGPT to solve OpenClaw problems is a mistake because it lies. So it told me to modify my config file, and normally I have problems with it because I always get an error message with the JSON. And so I I changed the JSON file to change the models because you can't change it anywhere else. And then all of a sudden it stopped working. Then I decided to do something else, and my JSON file disappeared, or my config file disappeared. I tried to rebuild it, but then I was using OpenClaw to help me fix, but now she couldn't operate. So I went from bad to worst. So it's down right now, and I've rebuilt it twice, so I'm going to rebuild it a third time because I find out that I learn more, like what to configure, what tools, what API calls to include, and I finally had her working properly, but now she is not functioning, and I need to do a backup on the Mac Mini. I mean, Time Machine is a really good backup, but I was going to do that, and I unfortunately of my 4 terabyte drive that I had attached to it was first used on a Windows machine, so it uses NTFS, and I couldn't write to it. I could write to it. I couldn't modify the files and save. So anyway, start from over again, and I feel like it's a good tool to rebuild these things because then you kind of learn new things and what steps you should take.
Well,
And
it's funny you say that because when I set up my Mini, which has been a big change in the last couple of weeks or week and a half, literally since I received it last Saturday and I set it up. Basically, I had it working in a day. I just said, "Hey, I want you to actually start clean and but I want you to be capable of taking some of the specific tools we've already built, but I want you to run this clean." And it's uh it's running real smooth. But I think similarly I had to know or I had to understand that hey, this might be better to do fresh than just trying to have it go um from where it's at. Especially since I was, even if it's still Mac, but I was still moving it from one OS to another. Mm.
no, the best thing is in this way I do use ChatGPT. I'll say, okay, we need to uninstall everything. We're going to start from fresh. I made a backup of the files because a lot of times so Sarah has her own folder where she puts things. And by the way, she's been giving me like 20 leads for jobs every day and creates a spreadsheet and then interprets the job. And so I just go and click on the links and apply for jobs and gigs. So that's working well. And so I'm going to just start from fresh and say, hey, you know what? We need to uninstall everything and let's start from the. And look, what's happening with OpenClaw is the new versions they're coming out with are just, I don't know, mind blowing, like every 2, 3 days, you know? Oh, by the way, I saw on a YouTube video that there was a big tech convention with what's that Chinese company, Cent 5 Cent or something? So,
10 cent?
oh, okay, 10 cents. I robbed them of 5 cents. Um,
Hey, that's 50% valuation. What are you doing here?
and I was kind of shocked because there was a woman there at the convention, and she says the Chinese government now is promoting OpenClaw,
Mm.
and all these companies are promoting it, and all these people, just basic people, are trying to install OpenClaw on their machines. So I'm not sure what the motivation is, but it does sound pretty interesting, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, why would they do
And
that?
then before we wrap up, I just wanted to touch on Claude Dispatch. So it sounds like you're behind, Nico. You haven't even had Sarah look into Open Dispatch,
Well,
Open
what does
Claude.
it do? And I'll tell you if you're right.
Um, so Dispatch is Anthropic is very much trying to catch up and have fluidity between, all this uh, just immediate, access and overlap between, your life and AI systems. Um, so Dispatch, now you can actually run your phone tapped into your computer and run co-work from your phone on your computer or whatever device. And I had it run a research mission last night, and I have this massive markdown file that gave me like 15 videos that it found that it could use to self-improve itself on all things business, AI, and marketing and sales.
Okay, so tell me, what is the dispatch do? You said it's making a phone call. Is that through Twilio, or how's
No,
it?
dispatch is just what it's called. So here, I gotta run, but after I share this real quick, can I share?
Yeah.
Let's see. I think you might need to give me access.
Mm, I think
Oh, no, I can share. Okay. Screen, desktop too.
because I want you to be careful about one thing, and we'll discuss. I want to see how this outgoing, because basically it's doing bound calls, is that right?
Yeah. So you can see here, for some reason, I have this session open on my phone, but I can't see it in my recent list. But this is a good thing just to highlight is so you can basically have a co-work session and then like, oh, I don't know if that code is gonna try to connect people, but oh,
Well, I'll make sure I record it and send it out.
all right.
Hey, but
Anyway, so
tell me
it
something
already
though.
says I'm connected,
Is this
but
open? Is this open Claw or Claude?
this is Claude.
Oh,
So if you go to this is Claude, so this is here's Claude code, so it's running. So I gotta run. I gotta get going. But that's a good note to leave off on is that,
yeah. Be careful though. I've got a huge bill from Twilio, so somebody hacked into one of my AI systems, and it made like 2,500 calls
I
international.
think I think they would still need my login information, but yeah,
No,
I don't
they
know.
didn't. I didn't give anybody the log information. They got in. The system was hacked. Okay.
Wow.
Well, we'll
Awesome.
continue with the journey, and I've just got some rebuilding to do, and I'm cautious when it comes to outgoing phone calls, because you can really get into trouble. And dispatch, I don't know. We'll see what it actually means. I'll do some research, but I'm stuck with OpenClaw, and I'm not really doing much with Claude, and also ChatGPT. The codex it has is pretty powerful. So, look, all these companies racing to the bottom. I mean, racing to the top to
Well,
to
once you let's get our bots chatting with each other because I think they would learn a lot from each other. So I can figure that out probably later tonight, but all right, I'll catch you
as
later.
long as your bot is not a male, I can't deal with
No, she's female.
that.
All right.
Jeez. Okay, take care, man. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.